The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of Kensington Palace as Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, sat quietly in her private study. April 29th had arrived once again, marking another milestone in what many considered the most watched love story of the modern era. 10 years had passed since she walked down the aisle of Westminster Abbey, transforming from a commoner named Kate Middleton into one of the most beloved members of the British royal family. As she sipped her morning tea, Catherine reflected on the incredible journey that had brought her to this moment. The palace was already buzzing with activity as staff prepared for what would become one of the most heartwarming royal announcements in recent memory. But this celebration would be different from the grand public ceremonies that typically marked royal occasions. This time, it would be intimate, personal, and centered around the family they had built together. Prince William had been awake since dawn, reviewing the special project they had been working on for weeks. The idea had come to him during one of their quiet evening walks through the gardens of their country home, Emer Hall. He wanted to create something that would not only mark their anniversary, but also show the world the genuine happiness and normalcy that existed within their royal life. The traditional posed photographs and formal statements felt insufficient for such a personal milestone. Their 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, were unaware of the significance brewing around them. To them, it was simply another day filled with lessons, playtime, and the comforting routine of family life that William and Catherine had worked so hard to maintain despite their public roles. The couple had made a conscious decision early in their marriage to prioritize their children's sense of normalcy, even as they fulfilled their duties as senior members of the royal family. The palace communications team had been quietly preparing for weeks, knowing that whatever the Duke and Duchess chose to share would capture global attention. Royal anniversaries always generated interest, but William and Catherine's relationship held a special place in the public's heart. Their courtship had been followed by millions, their wedding watched by nearly 2 billion people worldwide, and their family life continued to fascinate royal watchers across the globe. Catherine's personal secretary knocked gently on the door, reminding her that the children would need to be prepared soon. The Duchess smiled, knowing that the most challenging part of their anniversary surprise would be getting 3 young children to cooperate with their parents' vision. Prince George, now 7, had developed his own opinions about royal protocol and sometimes questioned why certain things needed to be done in specific ways. Princess Charlotte, 5, was spirited and independent, often providing unexpected commentary during formal occasions. Prince Louis, at 2 years old, remained wonderfully unpredictable, capable of bringing both joy and chaos to any situation. Meanwhile, Prince William was in his office, making final arrangements with their private videographer. The decision to create a family video had not been made lightly. Both he and Catherine valued their privacy immensely, particularly when it came to their children. They had learned from his own childhood experiences the importance of maintaining boundaries between public duty and private family life. However, 10 years of marriage felt like a moment worth sharing, especially as they had received such overwhelming support from people around the world throughout their journey. The videographer, who had worked with the family on previous occasions, understood the delicate balance required. This would not be a formal documentary or a stage production. Instead, it would capture genuine moments of family interaction, the kind of scenes that showed the Duke and Duchess as parents first and royal figures second. The challenge would be creating something that felt authentic while still maintaining the dignity expected of the royal family. As the morning progressed, the family gathered in their private quarters. Catherine had chosen simple, coordinated outfits for everyone, wanting the focus to be on their connection as a family rather than on fashion or formality. She had learned over the years that the most memorable royal moments often came when they appeared most relatable and human. Prince William gathered his children around him, explaining in simple terms that they would be making a special video to thank people for their kind wishes on Mommy and Daddy's anniversary. Prince George nodded seriously, understanding more than his siblings about the unique position their family held. Princess Charlotte immediately wanted to know if she could wear her favorite dress, while Prince Louis was more interested in the camera equipment than the explanation. The morning's preparation felt different from the usual royal engagements. There were no formal protocols to follow, no strict timelines to maintain, and no public appearances to coordinate. Instead, there was a sense of anticipation mixed with the normal chaos of family life. Catherine found herself thinking about how much had changed since their wedding day, not just in their public roles, but in their personal growth as individuals and as a couple. Their decade of marriage had not been without challenges. They had navigated the pressures of constant public scrutiny, the demands of royal duty, and the normal struggles that come with raising young children. There had been moments of intense media attention, periods of criticism, and times when the weight of their responsibilities felt overwhelming. Through it all, they had learned to rely on each other and to find strength in their shared commitment to service and family. The palace gardens provided the perfect backdrop for their anniversary tribute. The spring flowers were in full bloom, creating a natural beauty that no amount of formal decoration could match. Catherine had always loved this time of year, when the harsh English winter gave way to the promise of warmer days ahead. It seemed fitting that their anniversary fell during this season of renewal and growth. As they prepared to begin filming, both William and Catherine felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. They had appeared in countless official videos and documentaries, but this felt more personal and vulnerable. They would be sharing not just their gratitude for 10 years of marriage, but glimpses into the family life they had worked so carefully to protect. The children, dressed in their coordinated outfits, seemed to sense that something special was happening. Prince George took his role as the eldest seriously, while Princess Charlotte's natural charm was already evident. Prince Louis, true to form, was more interested in exploring the garden than following directions, providing the kind of authentic family moments that would make the video so endearing. Standing together in the garden they had come to love, surrounded by their children, and supported by the team that had helped them navigate a decade of royal life, William and Catherine prepared to create something that would touch hearts around the world. Their anniversary celebration was about to begin, but it would be unlike any royal commemoration that had come before it. The afternoon sun cast a golden glow across the manicured gardens as the family settled into their first filming session. Catherine had positioned herself on a wooden bench beneath their favorite oak tree, the same spot where they often gathered for quiet family conversations. Prince William stood nearby, his hand resting gently on Prince George's shoulder while Princess Charlotte examined a butterfly that had landed on her sleeve. Prince Louis, as expected, had discovered a fascinating stick and was far more interested in his impromptu sword fighting than in standing still for the camera. The videographer, experienced in working with children, knew that patience would be essential. Rather than directing a formal shoot, he began capturing the natural interactions that unfolded when the family simply spent time together. Catherine's gentle correction of Prince Louis's posture, William's quiet explanation to Prince George about why they were making the video, and Princess Charlotte's spontaneous comment about the pretty flowers all became part of the authentic narrative they were creating. What struck everyone present was how naturally the family interacted despite the camera's presence. Years of public appearances had taught William and Catherine how to remain genuine even under scrutiny, but their children brought an unscripted energy that transformed the entire atmosphere. When Prince Louis suddenly ran toward the camera, arms outstretched and giggling, both parents laughed with genuine delight rather than concern about maintaining royal decorum. Catherine found herself thinking about all the formal family portraits they had posed for over the years. While those images served their purpose in documenting official milestones, they rarely captured the warmth and humor that defined their daily life. This video represented something different, an opportunity to show the world that behind the titles and ceremonies, they were simply a family who loved spending time together. The videographer suggested they move to different locations around the garden, allowing for variety in the final piece. As they walked toward the greenhouse, where Catherine often worked on her gardening projects, the children's personalities continued to shine through. Prince George asked thoughtful questions about the plants they passed, displaying the curiosity that both parents had worked to encourage. Princess Charlotte collected flowers along the way, creating an impromptu bouquet that she insisted on presenting to her mother on camera. Prince William watched his wife interact with their children and felt overwhelmed by gratitude. 10 years earlier, as they had exchanged vows in Westminster Abbey, he could never have imagined how perfectly Catherine would adapt to royal life while maintaining her own identity and values. She had brought warmth and authenticity to every role she had undertaken, from her charitable work to her public appearances, but nowhere was her natural grace more evident than in her role as a mother. The greenhouse provided an intimate setting for some of the most touching moments of the filming. Catherine's passion for gardening had become well known to the public, but seeing her explain different plants to her children while William listened with obvious admiration created a scene of domestic happiness that felt both royal and remarkably relatable. When Prince Louis accidentally knocked over a small potted plant, Catherine's gentle response and the family's collective effort to clean up the soil demonstrated the values they were instilling in their children. As the afternoon progressed, the initial nervousness about filming began to fade completely. The children became more comfortable with the camera's presence, and William and Catherine found themselves genuinely enjoying the process of documenting their family's dynamic. There were moments of organized activity, like when they all worked together to plant new flowers in a memorial garden section, and moments of pure chaos, like when Princess Charlotte decided to demonstrate her cartwheel skills despite wearing a dress. The videographer captured conversations that revealed the couple's parenting philosophy without making it feel like an interview. When Prince George asked why people were interested in their anniversary, William's explanation about gratitude and service provided insight into how they were raising the future heir to the throne. Catherine's gentle reminders about kindness and consideration as the children interacted with the filming crew showed the values she prioritized in their upbringing. One of the most moving sequences occurred when the family gathered around a small memorial stone they had placed in the garden to honor Prince Philip, who had passed away just weeks before their anniversary. The children's questions about their great-grandfather led to a natural conversation about family history, love, and remembrance that brought tears to the eyes of everyone present. William's voice cracked slightly as he spoke about the example his grandfather had set in supporting the Queen throughout their marriage, and Catherine's hand found his in a gesture of support that needed no explanation. The technical aspects of filming became secondary to the emotional story unfolding before the camera. When Princess Charlotte asked if she could say something special for the video, her impromptu message about loving her family and being happy created a moment of pure authenticity that no amount of professional direction could have achieved. Prince Louis's contribution was less verbal, but equally charming as he insisted on hugging each family member while looking seriously into the camera. As the sun began to lower in the sky, casting longer shadows across the garden, the family gathered for what would become the video's most memorable scene. Seated together on a picnic blanket, surrounded by the flowers and plants that Catherine tended with such care, they created an image of contentment that spoke to people's deepest hopes for their own families. Catherine had prepared some brief remarks about their 10 years of marriage, but when the moment came to speak, she found herself drawing instead from her heart. Her words about gratitude, growth, and the joy of building a life together resonated with authenticity that no speechwriter could have crafted. William's response, speaking about partnership and the privilege of serving alongside Catherine, revealed the depth of respect and admiration that had only grown stronger over their decade together. The children, sensing that this was an important moment, remained surprisingly still and attentive. Prince George's serious expression showed his understanding that his parents were sharing something meaningful. Princess Charlotte held her mother's hand throughout the conversation, while Prince Louis contentedly played with a flower he had picked earlier. As they prepared to wrap up the filming, everyone present recognized that they had captured something special. The video would undoubtedly be analyzed and discussed by media outlets around the world, but its true power lay in its genuine portrayal of a family celebrating not just an anniversary, but the life they had built together. The late afternoon light created perfect conditions for the final shots, with the golden glow adding warmth to scenes that were already filled with love and laughter. As the camera finally stopped rolling, the children immediately returned to their normal energy levels, running through the garden and playing games while their parents took a moment to reflect on what they had just created. Standing in their garden, surrounded by evidence of the life they had cultivated together, William and Catherine knew they had succeeded in creating something that honored both their public role and their private happiness. The video would serve as a gift to the people who had supported them throughout their marriage, but it would also stand as a beautiful record of a perfect day in the life of a family that had found joy in both their extraordinary circumstances and their most ordinary moments. Evening approached as the family retreated to the comfort of their private living quarters within Kensington Palace. The excitement of filming had given way to the familiar rhythm of dinner time, bath time, and bedtime stories that anchored their daily routine. Catherine had changed into comfortable clothes and was helping Princess Charlotte wash the garden soil from under her fingernails while Prince William supervised Prince Louis's enthusiastic but ineffective attempt to brush his teeth. These quiet domestic moments, far from any camera or public eye, represented the heart of what they had been trying to capture in their anniversary video. The challenge of balancing royal duty with normal family life had been one of their greatest tests over the past decade. But evenings like this reminded them why the effort was worthwhile. Their children were growing up with a sense of both responsibility and normalcy that neither parent had experienced in their own childhoods. As the children settled into bed, Catherine and William found themselves with the rare luxury of uninterrupted time together. They made tea and settled into their private sitting room, finally able to process what they had created that afternoon. The videographer had provided them with some initial footage on his camera, allowing them to preview the magical moments they had captured with their family. Watching themselves on the small screen felt surreal. William was struck by how relaxed and happy they all appeared, a stark contrast to the formal family portraits that typically documented royal milestones. Catherine laughed at Prince Louis's antics and marveled at Princess Charlotte's natural charm, while both parents beamed with pride at Prince George's thoughtful responses to their conversations about service and gratitude. The couple began discussing how they wanted the final video to be structured. They had hours of footage to work with, but the goal was to create something concise yet meaningful that would resonate with people around the world. Catherine suggested focusing on the themes that had emerged naturally throughout the day: gratitude for public support, joy in their family life, and commitment to their shared mission of service. William was particularly moved by the segments that showed their children's personalities shining through. He had grown up under intense media scrutiny and had often felt that his authentic self was hidden behind royal protocol. Seeing his own children express themselves so freely while still showing respect and consideration for others convinced him that he and Catherine were succeeding in their goal of raising grounded, confident individuals. Their conversation turned to the deeper significance of reaching their 10th anniversary. Both acknowledged that their marriage had been tested in ways they could never have anticipated. The death of Princess Diana continued to cast a long shadow over William's public life, and Catherine had needed to develop extraordinary resilience to handle the constant speculation about her every word, gesture, and fashion choice. There had been periods when the pressure felt overwhelming. Catherine remembered the early years of their marriage when every public appearance was analyzed for signs of tension or happiness, when her childhood and family background were scrutinized in ways that felt invasive and unfair. She had learned to develop thick skin while maintaining her authentic self, a balance that required constant adjustment and tremendous inner strength. William reflected on how Catherine had transformed not just his personal life, but his approach to royal duty. Her genuine interest in the causes they supported, her natural ability to connect with people from all backgrounds, and Her unwavering commitment to their shared values had made him a better man and a more effective member of the royal family. She had brought fresh perspective to traditions that sometimes felt outdated while respecting the institution's fundamental purpose. Their charitable work had evolved significantly over their 10 years together. What began as separate interests had merged into a shared passion for mental health advocacy, environmental conservation, and early childhood development. The video they had created that afternoon would undoubtedly generate discussion about these causes, but more importantly, it would demonstrate the authentic care and commitment that drove their public service. As they continued watching the footage, both were struck by how much their children had already absorbed about their family's unique role. Prince George's questions about why people cared about their anniversary showed his growing awareness of his future responsibilities, while his siblings' natural warmth and curiosity suggested they were developing the emotional intelligence that would serve them well in their own future roles. Catherine mentioned how different this anniversary felt from their fifth, which had been marked by more formal celebrations and official events. The growth they had experienced as individuals and as a couple had given them confidence to share their authentic selves more openly. The video represented a new level of comfort with public attention, born from years of learning how to maintain privacy while meeting their obligations to the people who supported the monarchy. Their discussion was interrupted by Prince Louis's appearance at the door, clutching his favorite stuffed animal and announcing that he could not sleep. Catherine gathered him into her lap, while William adjusted the lighting to create a more soothing atmosphere. These interruptions, which might have frustrated other couples, had become treasured moments of connection that reinforced their priorities. As Prince Louis dozed in his mother's arms, William and Catherine continued their quiet conversation about the video and its potential impact. They had learned to be strategic about their public communications, understanding that every message would be interpreted through multiple lenses and discussed endlessly by media commentators. However, this project felt different because its primary purpose was personal rather than political or promotional. The couple recognized that their anniversary video would inevitably be compared to similar projects by other royal families around the world. The modern monarchy required a delicate balance between maintaining dignity and tradition while remaining relevant and relatable to contemporary audiences. They believed they had found that balance by focusing on universal themes of love, family, and gratitude rather than trying to make grand statements about their royal status. Catherine carried the sleeping Prince Louis back to his bedroom, while William reviewed more of the afternoon's footage. The simple act of tucking their son into bed, straightening his covers, and quietly closing his door felt as significant as any of the formal ceremonies they had participated in that day. These private moments of parenting reminded them that their most important roles had nothing to do with titles or public duties. Returning to their sitting room, Catherine found William smiling at a sequence that showed Princess Charlotte's spontaneous dance performance in the garden. Their daughter's uninhibited joy and creativity represented everything they hoped to preserve in their children's lives despite the unique pressures they would face as members of the royal family. The evening ended with both parents feeling grateful not just for their 10 years of marriage, but for the life they had created together. Their anniversary video would soon be shared with the world, but the real celebration was happening in these quiet moments between two people who had grown together, supported each other through challenges, and built something beautiful that extended far beyond their public roles. As they prepared for bed, William and Catherine knew that their decade together had been just the beginning. The video they had created would capture this moment in their family's evolution, but the story itself would continue to unfold in countless small moments of love, laughter, and shared purpose that no camera could ever fully document. The morning of the video release arrived with unprecedented excitement at Kensington Palace. Catherine woke early, feeling a mixture of anticipation and nervousness that reminded her of the butterflies she had experienced on her wedding day 10 years earlier. The palace communications team had scheduled the release for mid-morning, timing it perfectly to reach audiences across different time zones and ensure maximum positive impact. Prince William was already in his study, reviewing the final version of the video one last time with the communications director. The editing process had taken several weeks, with careful attention paid to creating a narrative that felt both intimate and appropriate for public consumption. Every frame had been scrutinized to ensure that while the family appeared relaxed and natural, they maintained the dignity expected of the royal family. The children were unaware of the global attention their afternoon in the garden was about to receive. They ate breakfast with their usual energy and chatter, Prince George asking about his upcoming football practice while Princess Charlotte insisted on wearing her favorite butterfly hair clip. Prince Louis, still young enough to live entirely in the present moment, was more concerned with the proper distribution of jam on his toast than with any anniversary celebrations. Catherine had chosen her outfit for the day carefully, knowing that every detail would be analyzed by fashion experts and royal watchers around the world. She selected a blue dress that complemented the coordinated outfits they had worn for filming, creating visual continuity between the private family video and her public appearance later that day. The choice reflected her evolved understanding of how personal style could reinforce public messaging without feeling calculated or artificial. The final video ran for just under 4 minutes, a length that balanced the desire to share meaningful moments with the reality of modern attention spans and social media consumption. It opened with scenes of the family walking through their garden, their natural conversation, and laughter immediately establishing the warm tone that would characterize the entire piece. Prince Louis's spontaneous running toward the camera provided an endearing opening that immediately captured viewers' hearts. Catherine's narration, recorded separately and laid over the family footage, spoke from the heart about their gratitude for 10 years of marriage and the support they had received from people around the world. Her words were simple and direct, avoiding the formal language that often characterized royal communications in favor of something that felt genuinely personal. She spoke about growth, partnership, and the joy of raising their children with the values of service and compassion. The video's middle section focused on the children's interactions, showcasing their distinct personalities while demonstrating the loving guidance they received from their parents. Prince George's serious questions about their family's role, Princess Charlotte's creative expression through flowers and dance, and Prince Louis's innocent joy created a portrait of childhood that resonated with parents everywhere, regardless of their circumstances or background. Prince William's contributions to the narration emphasized themes of partnership and shared purpose. His words about Catherine's transformation of his understanding of royal duty felt authentic and heartfelt, while his reflections on their charitable work demonstrated the genuine passion that drove their public service. The video successfully conveyed that their marriage had made them both more effective and more fulfilled in their royal roles. As the release time approached, palace staff monitored social media platforms and news websites, preparing for the immediate global response that they knew would follow. The communications team had coordinated with royal correspondents to ensure accurate reporting, but they also understood that the video's impact would extend far beyond traditional media coverage into the realm of public conversation and social sharing. The moment of release felt electric throughout the palace. Within minutes, the video began trending on social media platforms across multiple countries. The immediate response was overwhelmingly positive, with viewers expressing delight at the family's natural warmth and the children's charming personalities. Royal fans who had followed William and Catherine's relationship since their university days felt rewarded for their loyalty with this intimate glimpse into their family life. News outlets around the world quickly picked up the story, with many praising the video's authentic tone and the couple's decision to mark their anniversary in such a personal way. Royal correspondents noted the contrast between this approach and more traditional anniversary commemorations, highlighting how William and Catherine had found new ways to connect with the public while maintaining appropriate boundaries around their private life. The children's appearances in the video generated particular excitement among viewers. Prince George's thoughtful demeanor and growing maturity impressed those who had watched him develop from a toddler into a confident young boy. Princess Charlotte's spirited personality and natural charm reminded many of her late grandmother, Princess Diana, while Prince Louis's infectious energy brought smiles to faces around the world. Social media analysis showed that the video was being shared not just by royal enthusiasts, but by families who connected with the universal themes of love, partnership, and child-rearing. Comments from viewers revealed that many saw their own family dynamics reflected in the Cambridge's interactions, despite the obvious differences in their circumstances. This relatability had been one of Catherine and William's primary goals in creating the video. International media coverage highlighted different aspects of the video, depending on cultural contexts and local interests. American outlets focused on the couple's modern approach to royal communication, while European publications emphasized the children's bilingual abilities and cultural education. Commonwealth countries particularly appreciated references to service and duty that connected to their own relationships with the British monarchy. The video's impact extended beyond immediate entertainment value to influence broader conversations about modern monarchy, family values, and work-life balance. Parenting experts praised Catherine and William's approach to raising children in the public while maintaining normal family dynamics. The couple's obvious mutual respect and affection provided a positive example of partnership that resonated with couples celebrating their own relationship milestones. Behind the scenes at the palace, staff monitored the global response with satisfaction and relief. The decision to share such personal family moments had involved considerable risk, as any misstep could have resulted in criticism about privacy boundaries or accusations of using their children for publicity purposes. Instead, the overwhelming response validated their belief that authentic, heartfelt communication could strengthen the connection between the royal family and the public they served. Catherine and William spent the afternoon reviewing media coverage and social media responses, both moved by the warmth and enthusiasm of people's reactions. Messages of congratulations poured in from around the world, with many viewers sharing their own anniversary stories and family photos inspired by the royal video. The couple realized they had succeeded in creating not just a commemoration of their marriage, but a celebration of family love that transcended cultural and national boundaries. As evening approached, the family gathered for dinner with a sense of accomplishment and gratitude. The children, now aware that their garden afternoon had been seen by millions of people, seemed bemused but pleased by the attention. Prince George asked thoughtful questions about why people were interested in their family, while Princess Charlotte wanted to know if she could make more videos in the garden. The day's events had reinforced William and Catherine's belief that their greatest contribution to the monarchy lay not in grand gestures or formal ceremonies, but in their authentic representation of family values and genuine public service. Their anniversary video had given people around the world a reason to smile, to reflect on their own relationships, and to feel connected to a royal family that somehow managed to feel both extraordinary and wonderfully normal. The weeks following the video release brought a sustained wave of positive attention that surprised even the most experienced palace communications staff. Letters and emails poured in from around the world, not just from traditional royal supporters, but from families who had been touched by the authentic portrayal of love and partnership they had witnessed. Catherine found herself reading heartfelt messages during her morning tea, many from parents sharing their own family stories and expressing gratitude for the hope and joy the video had brought into their lives. The video's impact extended far beyond its initial entertainment value, sparking meaningful conversations about modern parenting, healthy relationships, and the evolving role of public figures in contemporary society. Universities began using clips from the video in communications courses as examples of effective storytelling, while relationship counselors cited William and Catherine's obvious mutual respect and affection as positive examples for couples seeking to strengthen their partnerships. Prince William was particularly moved by messages from military families who connected with his and Catherine's commitment to service despite the challenges of public life. Veterans wrote about finding inspiration in the couple's ability to maintain strong family bonds while fulfilling demanding professional obligations. These responses reinforced his belief that their most important contribution lay not in ceremonial duties, but in demonstrating that dedication to service could coexist with personal happiness and family fulfillment. The children gradually became aware of their video's global reach through age-appropriate explanations from their parents and the gentle questions of teachers and friends. Prince George, with his developing understanding of his family's unique position, asked thoughtful questions about why people around the world cared about their family's happiness. His parents used these conversations to reinforce lessons about responsibility, gratitude, and the privilege of being able to make people smile. Princess Charlotte delighted in learning that children in other countries had watched her flower picking and dancing in the garden. Her natural performer's instinct was balanced by her parents' careful guidance about the difference between sharing joy and seeking attention. Catherine worked to nurture her daughter's confidence while teaching her about appropriate boundaries and the importance of authenticity over performance. Prince Louis, still too young to fully comprehend the video's significance, remained blissfully focused on his immediate world of toys, games, and garden adventures. His parents treasured this innocence, while recognizing that he too would eventually need to understand both the privileges and responsibilities that came with his birth. For now, they were content to let him simply be a happy toddler whose infectious giggles had brought joy to millions of viewers. The anniversary video became a case study in effective royal communication, analyzed by PR professionals and royal historians for its successful balance of accessibility and dignity. Media experts noted how William and Catherine had managed to share intimate family moments without compromising their children's privacy or reducing the monarchy's mystique. The video proved that modern royalty could be both relatable and aspirational, inspiring rather than intimidating. 6 months after the video's release, its influence could be measured not just in view counts and media coverage, but in its lasting impact on public perception of the royal family. Polling data showed increased support for the monarchy among younger demographics, with many citing the Cambridge family's authenticity and warmth as factors in their positive feelings toward the institution. The video had succeeded in making the royal family feel more relevant and approachable without diminishing respect for their constitutional role. Catherine used the video's success as an opportunity to highlight the charitable causes that she and William supported. The attention generated by their anniversary celebration was redirected toward their mental health initiatives, environmental conservation efforts, and early childhood development programs. Their ability to leverage personal milestones for positive social impact demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of their platform's potential for meaningful change. The video also influenced how other royal families around the world approached their own public communications. Several monarchies began incorporating more personal, family-centered content into their official releases, recognizing that contemporary audiences responded more positively to authentic emotion than formal protocol. William and Catherine had inadvertently helped modernize royal communication standards across multiple countries. As their 11th year of marriage began, William and Catherine reflected on how the video had crystallized their approach to royal duty. They had learned to trust their instincts about what the public wanted to see and hear, discovering that their authentic selves were far more compelling than any carefully constructed royal persona. The success of their anniversary celebration encouraged them to continue finding innovative ways to connect with people while maintaining the dignity appropriate to their positions. The couple's relationship had undoubtedly been strengthened by the process of creating and sharing their anniversary video. Working together to craft a message that honored both their marriage and their public responsibilities had reminded them of their shared values and complementary strengths. They had emerged from the experience more confident in their ability to navigate the complex demands of royal life while preserving what mattered most to them as individuals and as a family. Their children's natural charisma and unself-conscious charm in the video had also given William and Catherine confidence about their parenting approach. Despite the unique pressures of royal life, they were successfully raising children who appeared happy, confident, and grounded. The positive public response to Prince George's thoughtfulness, Princess Charlotte's spirit, and Prince Louis's joy validated their belief that authenticity trumped perfection in both parenting and public service. The garden where they had filmed their anniversary video became an even more special place for the family. They continued to spend time there regularly, with the children often referencing their famous afternoon and asking if they could make more videos. William and Catherine treasured these moments, knowing that their children's memories of that day would become part of their family's private history, separate from its public significance. Looking toward the future, William and Catherine understood that their anniversary video had established a new standard for their public communications. Future milestones would be measured against the authenticity and warmth they had achieved in celebrating their 10th wedding anniversary. Rather than feeling pressured by this expectation, they felt liberated by the knowledge that being themselves was not only sufficient, but preferred by the people they served. The video remained a cherished family keepsake, watched occasionally during quiet evenings when they wanted to remember that perfect afternoon in their garden. But its greater legacy lay in what it had taught them about the power of honest communication and the deep hunger people felt for authentic connection in an increasingly digital and disconnected world. As they continued their royal duties with renewed confidence and purpose, William and Catherine carried with them the knowledge that their greatest achievement was not the video itself, but the life they had built together, a life filled with love, service, and the kind of ordinary magic that had captivated the world and reminded everyone that the most profound celebrations often come from the simplest expressions of genuine happiness and enduring love.